Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Gardens Grow. See this little empty pot? I'm hoping to fill it up just a little later on today. The sun is right over shining down so hot right now that I'm going to wait a little while, but I'm hoping to get this all filled out and looking great for a great start on this season. And I wish I could handle it as well, at least as well as I did before, which was never all that great, to tell you the truth. But I had a goal, I had a purpose, I had a determination, and I went with it. And I felt like the Lord was with me on it, but somehow I missed something somewhere as far as I just wasn't smart enough to take care of it. I didn't have the right skills. I didn't know the right people. But whatever, God is still God, and He still loves me, and I still love Him. And now I'm just praying that I can figure out what in the world He wants me to do with this garden, because I certainly don't want to just destroy everything I worked so hard for and put so much money and effort in. So we will see what will happen. So glad this little hosta my friend Susie gave me is returning, and I'm hoping, I know that I have 2 or 3 more over in this area, but so far I haven't seen anything come up of them, but I'm still hoping that it will. And I was also hoping to find another little water feature decor to put. There's a little container right in the mix of these, and I'm not sure what these are. They could be, I did at one time have cattails. Is that right? That don't sound right either, but I think that's right, cattails in this little water garden, and it could be them coming back again. It also could be a lovely Siberian iris. So whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be great. But I had thought about putting in this little pot right here that has nothing in it right now but some water and a rock. But I'm hoping to put another little feature there, and I'm thinking it would be great if I could find a tall water bird to stand up there and still be able to be seen through the foliage. And I'm still trying to work with my book. I've been going through it for any errors, and I'm still finding some on occasion. Not a lot, but I would hate to have someone reading my book and be forced to read the words that should be changed, or that have 2 letters turned opposite that they should be. And anyways, it's taking my time, and I'm not really getting into my garden the way I should. Look at this beautiful little column tree. I'm so glad it came back, and I'm still hoping my little green one does over here on the other side, behind this little blue container. But we'll see. So far it hasn't shown up. I am such a one-track minded person that I'm having trouble with keeping my mind on the book and keeping my mind on the garden to replant. But it's all cleaned out now. That's the most wonderful thing, because that's the hardest job there is. Oh, and look, this is my little maroon hibiscus plant. It's a hardy hibiscus, and I'm so glad it's doing so good. Of course, right here, right, if I can find it, right here is that green column plant. I so wish it was coming back up, but it may not. Oh, and my little peony is opening a little bit more. It won't be long till they're more than just big, beautiful buds. So I moved back some of the mulch around this little one, and looked down at the bottom to see if maybe it was trying to come up, but it's not. There is the green right there, but I'm pretty sure that's just, actually, it might be. I'm going to hope that's really this part of this little tree and it'll still come back. But it also could be just some of the alyssum trying to come up there in that spot. And some of my roses, I think I've already told you, but are beginning to open up. Not many of them yet, and hopefully these will just be covered in roses before too long. And I don't yet see any little tiny rose moss coming up here, but it still could also. And look at this little yellow with just enough white to make it shine, to set it off. Iris, it's looking so good. Actually, I wouldn't mind, and I can tell this is going to be blue, which I love blue and yellow together. And I was going to say I wouldn't mind if it came up right here beside this little Arkansas Star Insomnia plant, because there's that pretty blue and they do bloom at the same time. You want to be sure, if you want to show them off together, that they do bloom at the same time or close. This little blue balloon flower and this beautiful extra large daylily in bright orange called Screaming Orange look great together, and they don't always bloom together, but they do lots of times. Their bloom times are similar, so hopefully they'll get to play off each other's color. And I did go by this little rose when I was coming over to the Arkansas Star plant, but look what a beauty it is. It's been a while since I've seen it in bloom, and it's so good to see these pretty colors again. I actually ordered a rose that is these colors, but the bigger rose. And what I wanted to do is, if you can see this little rose right here, it is going back to the old rose, but it still has some orange roses on it. But just in case the day should come there's never any more of the pretty orange on it, I would like to go ahead and actually, let me go over there closer. These little oranges that are these little roses that are coming out are the beautiful orange color, but I will not be surprised if I don't have some of the red ones on the same vine, and I'll need to cut those off because they will take over. They're more hardy and they'll just take over. But hopefully we'll have this in for quite some time. And then I've told you that I lost this little right here. This used to be a beautiful St. John's wort bush with the little blooms in bright yellow that looked like they were fiber optic at the tops of them. So, and they don't last a whole long time. I think it said something like 3 to 5 years. So I'm pretty sure mine stayed at least 5 years, but then when it went away, I miss it so. But I don't think I'll put that back in, because I think that's where I'll plant that orange rose when it comes in. That's my plans right now, if I don't end up changing those. And while I was looking at this little orange bud fixing to be an open bloom, I saw that there's some of the yellow beginning to open up. I can get it for you. Which I don't know that I am, but oh yeah, I can see there. I hope you can see that too. The pretty bright yellow buds that are opening up. And they don't really open all the way up. The bud is their bloom. They just look like little tight buds when they're in full bloom. And that, of course, is the yellow Baptisia or false indigo. And I would have to say that I'm in agreement to some of the people that I hear saying that the peonies are beautiful, but they're just not, they don't last long enough to be worth planting them in the garden, except for the last part of that. To me, they are worth it, even though they don't last long, and especially it depends on the weather too, because they want the rain, of course, but they don't want it to end up keeping it on their petals too long and then just kind of mildewing away. But or I'm sure it's more of a fungus that they get when they've been wet. But I always think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to see these beautiful blooms, even though you have to come out here when they're all done and clip them off so that the little green bush can look pretty. Look, one of my little Atoe peonies bloomed. I knew it would be soon, but I didn't know it would be quite this soon. And this one that I told you just yesterday would soon be open is also open. And the wind has destroyed this little yellow Atoe peony. Too bad, but maybe next year it'll bloom for us. Almost missed this and this. Almost black iris, and of course those I've shown you just now is the pretty orange roses, and the yellow baptisia or false indigo opened up more. And here's another little peony that will soon open. This one probably will open by tomorrow. did not get my little pot filled up yesterday, but I did have a good day, and I looked through some more of I started proofreading my book for errors, and I finished that yesterday. So, not that I read the whole book in one day, but I had already started it, so I finished it up. I just didn't want to leave it till I finished it, and each time I find something. So I hope you read it, and I hope you don't find errors in it, but we'll see what happens. But I'm going to try again today to get some of these little ones in at least one pot, maybe more. So I have planted my first annual pot of the season. Doesn't it look good? Now, if it will just keep on going and keep on looking good and even better, because you know how pretty they are when the blooms flow into each other and just all the colors and textures play off of each other and it gets bigger and more beautiful. And of course that doesn't always happen, but you always hope for that. And I picked this little pot for my Dashandra because it's high up on this, or sort of high up, about actually maybe 4 foot up, so that it can trail down. And it's already got a little trailing piece on it, so that's a good start. And it looks nice and healthy. And I planted 2, one on either side of this little girl. And then in the front, of course, this is a Calabachoa, or the mini petunia. The ones I have a hard time getting to keep on going, but I will try. It's so pretty. And then I always love to put the Dashandra with a Dusty Miller or something with that pretty blue cast color to it. They just look so well together. They look like they were made for each other. And then you don't see much color here, but I'm hoping you will eventually, because this is a fan flower. And it will look so pretty, and especially if it just billows out and puts them all over and puts them in with these other things, which is just another Dusty Miller. I told you I put one on either side, or I think I just told you I did that to the Dashandra, but also actually I did it with the Dusty Miller also. And then right here is the little fan flower, and I also put in a red annual salvia. So I'm pretty sure this little decor will not feel lonely in the garden. She can sit and watch this grow. That's my hope. If not, we'll see what else I can put in there. Last year I had impatiens in there, and actually since this is under the weeping willow tree, it does get enough sun and enough shade that I could do impatiens here, and somehow for some reason they seem to do better for me, much better than the Calabachoas. But like I say, I'm going to keep trying because I love them. Of course, I love the impatiens too. That fan flower is also called Scaviola. And let's see, what else I'm going to tell you? Tell you that Calabachoa is also called a Cha-Cha orange. So in my second little pot, I put a petunia. This one is called Starlit Midnight Sky. And I put a licorice plant. And this one is called Silver, which to me it has that pretty soft powder blue cast color to it that I really like. And then the blue bacopa, is that what it's called here? Gulliver, actually, is what it's called. And then another of the orange, and this one is called Cabaret Orange. And this is how it looks. And it will just keep going and going. I'm hoping last year my licorice plant just kept going and going and going and going. It just was out over a foot on each side of it and just looked so good. But my other little plants didn't quite catch up to it and then fizzled totally out. So I hope I've had this Bacopa to just do wonderful for me, but it's been way in my past for a long time. I haven't had it to do all that great, and not even to last. It's kind of getting like the Calabachoa is for me, but I'm hoping every time that it will just do wonders again. I know it can. And I also did put a Dusty Miller in here. It just goes wonderfully with every color. It brings out the color of the other colors become just more bright, more beautiful, more noticeable with that Dusty Miller in there with them. And the third little pot that I fixed up here is Extreme Salmon Impatiens. So, and I do this every year for a while. I've had Impatiens in my strawberry pots, and they've always been beautiful. It strikes me every time when I put it in here how beautiful they are when there's just that one little impatient inside each little space for a plant, and it still looks so pretty. But you know, when they get fuller and fuller and fuller, and you can hardly see what they're in, they just look like one big mass of beautiful Impatiens. It's even prettier still. And also I wanted to say that I love these little 4-packs, or better yet if you can find a 6-pack. But the thing is, these are small, and I guess most people must want the bigger plants because they'll pay almost this much or more for one in a slightly bigger pot. Well, actually, in a pot like this size right here. So it's, but these will grow the same amount of size, and they're so much easier to put in these tiny little places. You don't have to tear them completely up to get them in there. And I just love them. I've always been a fan of the smaller ones just because I can create my own little arrangements with them, and I just enjoy doing that. Plus, okay, I'm frugal, so that's the main reason, probably always has been. But if I could do the other, I would still pick these smaller ones because they're so much easier to put in, and they will get just as big, and it'll be a pleasure to watch them get that big, unless the snails or something gets them. And I did see 2 slugs on my pots that I'd had sitting there in the front yard along the sidewalk. I knew I had to get to those soon before they got to them. So I don't think it's ruined them yet, but it was it was in this little tall pot right here, and it was the orange Cabaret Calabachoa that it had tried to take down. So hopefully it didn't make it, and I'm actually going to get some spray and spray those right now because I don't want them to be taken out. And I've definitely had that done many times, is had my plants taken out by the snails or roly-polies, or anyway, the crustaceans. So I don't really like them, But anyway, I'm going to spray for them, and hopefully that will make the difference, and they will just keep going and going and going, and I won't be out here telling you, and now I've got to replace all these because the snails took them out. So, I should know those words real easily. They should be easy to say at least. But I hope I don't have to. And filling this up was so simple that I think I'll go around front and fill up my other strawberry pot. They're just little starts right now, but I think they're going to make this little pot a beauty before the season's over. So I did get this other one finished too, but that's about it. It started misting, and we did get another 3/4 inches of rain, so that's great. And in my plans, in my mind, I'm thinking about this is just getting so full that it may choke itself out or something. And besides, I want these in other places, so I think that would be the thing to do, is just to take this out and chop it up and put it back in, little pieces of it and other little pieces of it in those places where I would like to have it in the front. At least there may be other places. I'm not thinking of those yet, but we'll see how far it will go. I actually want to leave that one little pot full and pretty too, but this is looking good coming up in this pot, and I may put a little bit more in it and see if I can get it filled out, and then not just put a whole bunch of different kinds in here. I did get this little pot, put some impatiens in it also, but I did not get these sprayed because of that rain. It went ahead and started raining, but I know that those snails were looking around at it because I found 2 in there, and I can't let that happen. I've got to spray these today if at all possible. But I've been thinking that these little pots, I don't know for sure about this one. It may be too small, but it may not. I think it would live in that pot. And of course I've got some of it right here already started, but I think it would be better if I just go ahead and fill these up with that, so they would come back hopefully each season, and I wouldn't have to fill them again. And I'm thinking it would look pretty in this little pot too, but this little pot is very shallow, so I'm not for sure about it, nor am I sure we're going to have enough for all the things I think it would look good, because I think it will look good in this little pot right here, and maybe even around the sides. I thought that this was a sedum or a succulent right here, but it did not do well in this little pot. I don't know if it didn't drain well enough. That's probably the problem. Look at my Kinsley's ghost coming right back out. I thought it had died. I believed it had died so much that I ordered another one. But I think I'll just plant it right on the other side of this little hole, and hopefully they'll grow together. Look how nice this end of this little walkway in the back looks. And then I'm going to turn right around. And this is where the cats, my neighbor's cats, because I don't have a cat, brought some kind of rodent up into my yard, and they dug big huge holes in here, and they ate on everything. But it's trying to come back. Look, I thought the pennies were totally gone, but this is showing up again, and that's great. All of these little daylilies that are supposed to be they are so hardy, but those things ate them too. Oh look, I started to go past this one, but there is some life there. That's great too. Sometimes we give up a little too early on our plants coming back. Looks like I don't see anything here though, so I will still have to put some in later on. I'll probably do that in the fall when I'm sure, and also when it's probably a better time to plant the peonies. Oh my goodness, they just made it look so awful and bare on this end. Oh, and also I took some flowers or some plants that I had in the back in a bedroom, and look what I found. My little girl Cherub Angel. She wasn't lost at all. I just hadn't got around to finding where I put her yet. I did divide this little lipstick blonde hosta, and it still looks full and it's got some room for it to grow. And I did get to put it in several other places in the front. And I put part of it right here in this little pot, and 2 other parts of it here in these two pots on the front porch. This little lipstick blonde hosta has came back for me every year since I got it. And it was a small little plant when I got it, and as it grew and people admired it, I gave little pieces of it away, and it's still going strong and looking good. I'm also bringing my houseplants out, and I hope that's not too early, but next week I think we're going to have some good temperatures, not too hot or too cold, so hopefully they'll do fine. This is one of them, and I haven't brought out many because I've just been too busy planting. I want to get my little new plants in the soil so they'll have a chance to not get all ratty looking and just take off and go. This is one of the little pots that I filled up yesterday. And I noticed that this little pot had a couple of petunias coming up in it, and so I thought I'll just go ahead and put the rest of those sweet potato vine, the blackie, in there with that, and hopefully this will make a pretty little pot when it grows up. And I did this little pot with the mint green licorice plant, the purple angelonia, and this purple calabachoa, and right behind it there, it's not in bloom, but this is a double purple petunia. So hopefully it will be looking sweet and pretty to greet me all summer long. And at some point I'm gonna, this little pot, or used to be a bird bath, is actually, it's broken, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this out, but I'm gonna plan on taking these little succulents out of it and using them in other places in the garden. And this little pot right here may be one of those places that I'll want to use the succulents, so they'll be coming back hopefully each season without me having to change out all these pots. And this little lipstick blonde hosta actually has plenty in it that I could take some out of this one. If it's not already so big, it's hard to get out. When they get big, so big that when I try clipping them out or digging them out, I end up breaking the foliage off of the root. Then I don't want to deal with them then till the next spring when they're tender again. And last year I had 2 of these pots of rainbows in, but this year I'm not seeing that the one. Several of my hostas did not come back, and that's sad for me, but and this is another little new one that I got called I think it's called kiwi, or kiwi spearmint, that I've had it once before and lost it too. So I'm going to have to stop dealing with the things that don't come back and get some of these that come back well for me and dig them up and put them in the other pots and just keep right on going instead of just keeping on looking for new hostas to go in them each season. But they are all pretty to me. I like the different colors and shades of green and textures, and just like hostas. And I put a little Mexican heather in this little pot, which is not going to last me much longer. The little pot isn't, but I think it will go another year. And this little pot is the first one that I did with first one this season that I did with the blackie sweet potato vine and a double petunia. These usually look very good because the petunia leaves are kind of like not really a heart shape, but close. And then the these, of course, the Blackie have these totally different, like forked kind of leaves. And together they usually just blend and make a very pretty little showing in a pot. And then the other one that I did is this one right here. I used several calabachoas, and I'm not good with those, but I'm hoping that, actually I think I'm getting better, so I'm hoping that these will live. And I also filled up this little tiny strawberry pot with rose moss, and I purchased this little rose. And this one back here, this one actually is mine, but this one is for a friend. And I also put a little marigold in this little pot right here, because look how pretty it looks with the blue and yellow. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.